Peace and blessings, frequency hoppers. Peace and blessings. Welcome to the Frequency Journal Podcast, a sanctuary of remembrance and resonance, where we explore the art of spiritual frequency hopping and pathways to ease love and grace. I'm your host, Imani Sankofa, clarity coach, soul doula, and frequency guide, here to walk beside you as you remember who you are and rise into your highest vibration. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's tune into the frequency of remembrance together. So often, people avoid looking in their own mirror, not just the physical one, but the energetic and emotional mirror. Avoidance creates distortion. When you cannot see your own patterns, you unconsciously repeat them. Speaking of repeating patterns, my biggest lessons have come through my relationships, friendships, platonic, romantic relationships, work relationships, right? So there was a time where I would keep trying to hold together a relationship that clearly had run its course. I would pray for harmony. I would do the inner work on myself. And I would give more than my share, believing love to fix whatever the problem was, right? And I kept telling myself that I was being loyal, I'm being patient, I'm being spiritual, I'm using my faith, things are going to work out, it's going to get better. At some point, this person is going to see me, they're going to value me, they're going to see my worth. But beneath the surface, something deeper was playing out. Each time I ignored the red flags, I made excuses, I overgave. I was actually abandoning myself. I stayed, not because love required me to stay, but because the pain was familiar and the pain felt safer, the uncertain peace. Yes, there is such a thing, right? Such a thing. The turning point came one evening when, after another circular argument, I looked in the mirror and I really began to look at myself. And I started asking myself questions that I will present to you later on in this episode. But when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see the other person's reflection. I saw my own reflection. I saw my own exhaustion. I saw that my light had dimmed. And then I heard this voice that told me, you are not being rejected. You are being redirected. I didn't really want to hear it. Okay, let's just be honest. Okay. There were people I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to let go. I wanted things to be good with us. But I had to let go. And sometimes I let go, kicking and screaming and crying. Many nights of ugly crying that no one saw me do. But in the privacy of my own home, I was crying. I was sad because the pattern was the same. You know, I would meet a great person. I thought this person would be great to have in my life. And then it wasn't. And the person, for some reason, could not see me, could not see my worth, could not see my value. And it was only when I left that the light came on for them, that they were able to see me clearly. But of course, by then, it was too late. So it was during this moment that I stepped into the mirror of truth frequency. At that time, I didn't even have a name for it, okay? I didn't have a name for it. I just knew this was the process, my process. But I realized that the relationship wasn't the problem. No. It was the reflection. It was showing me every place that I had yet to fully choose myself. This is how we get the I choose me frequency. All those times where I kept putting my interests on the back burner, it was always, well, when the kids, get this age, then I. When the kids get out of high school or when they get out of college, then I. Then I'll do what I want to do for me. And it seemed like every time when something came up for me to put myself first, someone else would jump in front of me, jump in front of the line. And then I would say, okay, well, we'll do you first. And then I would go and I would support other people's vision, other people's soul mission. And I would put mine on the back burner. But deep inside, I was hoping that they could see me. None of them could see me, right? They just saw them. They just saw their own reflection. They couldn't see mine. And so finally, after going around and around in circles with no breakthrough, I had to go ahead and let it go. The pain didn't go away immediately. I'm not even going to sit here and tell you that that's what happens, especially to the ladies, okay? If you're a person that feels deeply, the pain doesn't just go away. Especially when you love someone, it doesn't just go away. But you have to be okay with the temporary discomfort in order to receive your breakthrough. Because on the other side of the pain is something more powerful. Now for me, it was clarity. I was being able to see my pattern, what I was doing, all the times when I abandoned my own dreams, my own desires, putting myself last. And I'm not talking about if you have, minor children at home. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay. But I'm talking about the times when you go help a friend before taking care of yourself. The time when you're supporting someone else's vision before putting your own vision and serving in your own soul mission. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. The times when you put your male-centered and you put a man in front of what you really want. Or a woman, for same sex. Or a woman. It could be a woman. You put someone else before you put yourself, is what I'm saying. And I saw that love doesn't require me to shrink. I can love you and I can still stand in my light. And I can stand in my greatness. And I can walk my path and still love you while I'm loving myself. I learned that peace isn't something that you negotiate. It's something that you embody. I am peace, right? And I realized that I had been giving my peace away in pieces, fragmented pieces, to my energy field was fragmented all over the place, right? And I had to recall my energy, reclaim it. And I had to bring my energy back home within myself. And once I honored my truth, this was my truth. Once I honored that, my energy began to shift. And it continued to shift until I shifted right back into balance. Okay. I started attracting experiences and people who matched my healed reflection. So my circle is very small, extremely, extremely small, right? But that is what it looks like when you're not able to recognize your pattern. And then when you do step into the mirror of truth frequency, when you then can begin to see your blind spots, you begin to see yourself clearly, both light and shadow. You begin to see the role that you play in your reality that you're creating. Okay, all of this you're creating yourself. I was creating this for myself. And once I was able to come to that truth within myself and hold it within myself, then I was able to then go into the I choose me frequency. I was able to shift into a higher frequency. So often we think someone is rejecting us, and really they're not. I mean, most people are caught up in their own worlds, right? We all create our own reality. So even though, I could be walking alongside of you, I'm living inside my own universe. You're living inside your own universe. Most people are not even thinking about you anyway. Okay? And it's not rejection, not from the other person. You have to ask yourself, in what ways am I rejecting myself? In what ways am I abandoning myself? In what ways am I dimming my light so someone else can feel better, can feel more comfortable? In what ways have I put myself last? Now, I don't do any of this kind of stuff anymore, you guys, okay? Yeah, I don't do that. That old version of me, oh, she's dead. I don't do any of that anymore. But at the time, that is what I was doing. And in some relationships, it took me a long time to leave because there's this part of me that just lives in hope and possibility. I can do all things, you know? But sometimes part of that all things process is leaving, is walking away. And so now that I see the pattern, I don't waste my time going around in circles and circles and circles with people. I just don't have time for that anymore. I don't have the energy for that. I have no desire for that. And I know that even if I'm not in your 3D reality, I can meet you in a whole different dimension. I can meet you on the 5D plane where all is well. We can stay here on the 3D plane and I can love you from a distance and all is well. Either way, all is well. And so you come into this place of peace. You know, can you imagine what it must have been like for the children of Israel? You know the story in the Bible where they were with Moses and they left Egypt and they were out in the wilderness for 40 years. Now, I don't know if the story is true or not. I'm not here to dispute that. But imagine that. That's our life story. So many times, by the time you get it, I know for me, okay, the light didn't come on until after I turned 50. We're talking about all those years, carrying that weight, all the trauma, you know, and it took me a long time I had to get it out the mud like a lotus flower. And it took me a long time to get to where I am today. But once you face yourself, face your fears in the mirror of truth, once you see your reflection, on the other side of that is breakthrough. On the other side of that is clarity, it's peace, it's freedom, and guess what? It's still love and abundance. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for tuning into the Frequency Journal podcast. May today's conversation help you shift into deeper harmony and live from the clarity of your true essence. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who's ready to remember their light. To go deeper, explore frequency alignment sessions, rituals, and resources at spiritualfrequencyhopping.com. And you may subscribe to the Frequency Journal here on Substack for weekly vibrations of remembrance. And until we speak again, keep rising, keep hopping, and be the light.